President Uhuru Kenyatta was in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, attending the 30th African Union Summit on Governance. Kenyatta, while in Ethiopia, encouraged the private sector to partner with African government towards delivery of universal energy access.
Africa's story is changing, and it is those who will be in the forefront that will benefit from this dramatic change that is occurring in Africa. I have no fear in stating that people look at our population, they look at all the negatives which exist. We don't like to lie to one another. They look at poverty, they look at underdevelopment, they look at poor infrastructure, they look at high unemployment. They look at all these things and see them as a challenge. But there is a new generation of African leaders who are actually looking at this as a huge and massive potential that is standing ready to be exploited for the benefit of all.
He said the African continent has a huge potential for green energy generation and transmission, and urged the private sector to take advantage of good returns while at the same time boosting people's access to energy.
To encourage largely those areas in the entire energy network that can be driven by private sector, let us facilitate the private sector to drive. For example, generation. Let us encourage more private sector participation in generation. Let us reduce government investment in generation. This is a profitable and viable proposition. Transmission. We can begin, and we are now beginning to look at how can transmission equally be moved to private sector. The private sector is capable of doing their costs and carrying over. And the carry cost would be enough to provide economic return.
Reporting for Channel 1 News Hour, I'm Kaltun Jama.
This concerted political will in Africa for regional integrated energy markets